When Schreiber resigned, we knew we needed to have a replacement that was really going to help us go forward because there was a lot to recover from. And we have this beautiful institution, over 100 years old. What is our future? So we hired a lady from the corporate, the JCCA, to coordinate a find of a new CEO. So we had 33 applicants, and immediately after Jacob resigned, I called Jim Sluyter, who I'd known for 15 years. Jim was just an incredible CFO, good guy. So I called him and I said, Jim, we're going to need you to step in. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to hire a CEO, but I need you to be the interim. And I remember him saying, Ken, I'm willing to do this. I've done it before, but I don't want to do it too long. He said, I love this place. You need to find the best CEO that you can find. But I'll stay the course. But kind of don't dawdle. So I knew it was probably going to take several months. And I would meet with Jim every Friday. We would go over issues and what did I needed to help him with. And I remember one meeting, he said, Ken, I could probably do this job, but it's not my time. You need a Jewish leader. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna apply. A chair of the board can encourage that. I could see in Jim, from my eyes, I thought Jim would be a tremendous candidate. But I couldn't tell Jim that. As the chair of the board, that's not our role. We appointed a search committee. Mark Bowen, very young, capable, smart guy who'd been in big business. He was the chair of that search committee. And our consultant would screen everyone that applied for the job, had to write a paper and have an interview with Dory, and we were going to narrow it down. So we narrowed it down to about 10 people. And I remember going into Jim's office one Friday, and he said, Ken, you're going to be mad at me. I said, why am I going to be mad at you? He said, I think I might apply. I might throw my hat in the ring. So I said, well, Jim, I wish you the best of luck, thinking ready to do a backflip, but saying, Jim, you're going to have to go through the process. We're already quite a ways down. We've been at this several months. So you're going to have to meet with Dory, who's our search, our consultant, and go through the process. And I just wish you the best of luck. He says, well, Ken, I'm going to go home and pray with Julie this weekend. I'll let you know for sure Monday morning. So I remember leaving the building, walking outside. If I could have done a backflip, I would have done it. Because watching Jim, even before I ever got on the board, we helped the J with his employee benefits, with his health plan, and how he was a finance guy, chief financial officer, very, very smart, but also he thought bigger than that. So I thought, well, if I was a dictator, if it was up to me, there wouldn't be a question. But I knew, we've never had it. There's only one JCC in the country that had a non-Jewish CEO. It was in New York. So the chances I didn't think were that great, but I was hoping because I could see the talent there. So anyway, went on, and then Jim happened to be one of the 3 finalists. And, I talked to Mark, and, even though I knew what I really felt about Jim, I had some conversations and thinking that, look, we're a community center. Yes, we have Jewish values, and we want to be, it's a place where Jews feel secure, but it's also a place, we had more non-Jews members at that time, and the J was starting to come back. This was in 2015. So Jim was one of the 3 finalists. We had probably as many as 13 on the search committee. There was Orthodox Jews, Reform Jews, conservative Jews, even a Christian or two. So they came in 3, one after another, and Jim was the last one interviewed. And I remember distinctly, looking around the room saying, I just hope that he's really considered. So I remember the last question that was asked of Jim was, do you have anything else you want to say? And Jim started to tear up. And Jim said, I hope you find the best CEO if it's not me. I love this place. It's the only place I've ever wanted to work. But I'm not going anywhere, regardless. And Jim walked out of that room, and it was unanimous. We were the second Jewish community center in the country to hire a non-Jewish CEO. And I can tell you it's been absolutely incredible, because what was needed at the J was a work culture that was inclusive, that was diversified, and that cared about people. Because if you're part of a culture like that, I felt Jim could make that happen, where every human being that worked at the J, that was a member, felt that they really mattered as a human being. And that's what makes a creative and successful organization thrive. If you don't have that, it's tough going.